Federal High Court 2 sitting in Port Harcourt, presided over by Honorable Justice Obile, has today dismissed the suit filed by the Rivers State government led by suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Victor, Oko-Jumbo and 2 others, challenging the alleged defection of the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Amaewhule, and 26 other lawmakers. In a well-attended courtroom session, the presiding judge ruled that the suit lacked merit and failed to establish any legal basis for the claims made by the plaintiffs. The case, which had sought to declare the seats of the 27 lawmakers vacant over their alleged defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress, was dismissed in its entirety. The court held that the subject matter of the suit had been decided by the Supreme Court in its judgment of 28th day of February 2025. The court further held that it would amount to judicial rascality for any court in Nigeria to sit and assume jurisdiction on a matter already decided by the Supreme Court, which is the highest court. Rather, all courts below must adhere to legal doctrines of stare decisis. Let the decision of the higher court stand. Biden president. Honorable Justice Obile noted that the plaintiffs failed to present convincing evidence to show that the lawmakers have indeed defected or violated any provisions of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, as to warrant the relief sought and aligned itself completely with the judgment of the Supreme Court of 28 February 2025. The ruling follows the motion on notice filed by the Defendant's Counsel, Chief KCO Njamanze, SAN, Chief Ferdinand Obile, SAN, and Dr. J.Y. Musa, SAN, praying the courts to dismiss the suit, same having been conclusively decided by the Supreme Court, and therefore stripped the Federal High Court and any other court of jurisdiction to further sit on the matter. This marks a significant legal victory for Right Honorable Amaewhule and his colleagues, reaffirming their positions as legitimate members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. We were, touching a bit on the story in the first conversation. Now, we are now in the story, as it were. What do you make of the court's decision? I already know part of what you think, but then when I was reading and I read the line where the court said that it cannot, further decide on the matter, being that Supreme Court had, ruled on the matter, you laughed a little. So I want to know, I'm interested to know why you laughed over that statement.
Because you see, what, now that the storm is over, and we all can look at what has happened and what happened to us all. Perhaps one thing that I'd like us to look at, a similar matter like this in the United States, some matters against Trump by the Biden administration. And the Supreme Court said there was a matter relating to this matter that had not been discussed, was not ripe enough. Okay, let me use the language of lawyers. It was not ripe enough, and that matter had to be decided at the lower court and brought forward. But here, the Supreme Court, which is supreme, which is the final arbiter, beyond which will quote you appeal to God, had decided a matter that was not even appropriately before it. Now, maybe there will be room for some judicial review in the future. That it will be a mere academic exercise just to guide future juries, lawyers on such processes. But honestly speaking, apparently the cat was put before the horse. And the Supreme Court, of course, when the Supreme Court rules, who are those judges in the high courts? Who are those judges in the Court of Appeal who would dare look at that matter again? Of course, technically, the matter at the High Court was dead on arrival.
You recall that when a previous matter, that was this matter as well, but this time around, the appellants in the matter was the Labour Party.
I remember at all.
When that matter was brought before Justice Obile, he said he adjourned that matter to April 30, I think. No, yes, I think so. But he adjourned that matter to April. Maybe I'm not clear on the exact date anymore. But he adjourned that matter. At that time, Supreme Court has not even given his judgment. And he said that he will not, he's adjourning that matter to wait for Supreme Court judgment. That was what he said.
Now, look, the issue.
So which means he's privy to the matter before the Supreme Court, and he knew that this matter was before the Supreme Court.
There were all kinds of cases.
Yes.
A case relating to whether or not these members are legitimate members of the Rivers State Assembly was at that embryo stage. Okay. That had to do specifically with 1091G. And also, I mean, those.
Yes.
But because there were too many cases relating to. Because the matter here, for instance, some of it, whether or not Rivers State government should be entitled to the collection of monies meant for the running of state. You know, so there were segments of these stories, of course. It was like a holistic case broken into bits. And some of those bits came quicker to the Supreme Court because you have agreed there, Siminalayi Fubara, in respect of the decision of Mr. President, withdrew this case. And that's what slowed it down. While he withdrew his own case, those he made peace with continued with their own case.
The question that I want to ask, how smart was that move? You know, when Rivers State government came out to say, oh, that they were deceived into withdrawing a matter.
In the name of a peace deal was daylight robbery. And most people had insisted at that time that the president didn't even have any right to intervene at that point. And these matters, since we believe in the rule of law, these matters would have run their full course. Okay? Now, but if you have an arbiter in the person of a president of a country who says, come, left belongs to me, right belongs to me.
But you
just hold on.
Being met for the president
now. So I could properly land.
Go ahead.
You want to shave my hair before?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, so this is the thing. Now, at this point, in respect of Mr. President, the governor of Rivers State, seeking peaceful options, obliged. But it was later that it would dawn on him that those he went to a conversation with had a different agenda. And that different agenda manifested, you know. So you had their cases running way ahead of the cases that really did matter in this matter. But whatever happens, we are Rivers people. What do we want? We want the expulsion of a state of emergency.
Okay.
We want a return of the governor in respect of our democracy. And above all, we want peace as Rivers people.
I didn't hear you say the return of the suspended Rivers State House of Assembly.
Yeah.
You only said
no.
I will bring that up.
That's,
you know, because the interesting thing is
right.
the call has been
now
for the governor.
How would you?
How about the suspended lawmakers?
Listen now. Okay, let me take responsibility for that. But the intention was not to exclude the House of Representatives of Assembly. Because there's no way you run a democracy
without the legislature.
That's
very well.